Hey everybody, gosh, I could listen to Jeff talk. He almost talks in like tweets. I can't. He has so many golden nuggets that he says. It's just amazing. I'm a little nervous because to me this is the home court. I mean, Jeff, I might even get emotional, allowed me several years back to bring up Anne Marie, who was a homeless woman living in an alley in Chicago. And then I continued bringing homeless people up on stage. So pretty much by now predictable. So I didn't want to do that. And then I wanted to be like the cool marketing guy that I thought I once was going to be. And then I was, going to work off, Biz Stone did this great quote, the future of marketing is philanthropy, which I believe in, and cause marketing, you got to be there. But then, you know what, that's not me. And I kept on wrestling with finding meaning and sharing meaning. So I'm just going to talk from the heart. It's kind of interesting. I could talk forever and ever about the serendipity of Twitter, these just little magic moments. So how I actually got here to this stage, I was right around 19 months unemployed. I literally was eating dollar pizzas. That's all I could afford. I had zero income. I just started InvisiblePeople.tv with $45. I was going out, I was putting up videos. I started on Twitter, not because I wanted to be a Twitter guru, but it was free. And, I started to engage with people. Early on, I had this tactic I call the coffee strategy. I would look at a bio, and if you're local, I'd invite you to coffee. And some of the best relationships that I've ever built were because I took it offline into the real world. But there's this woman named Jessica Gottlieb, and she played a big part in getting me to this stage and a lot of other things. But there's this social media club, and many towns have them. And the social media club was, at the 11th floor, the 21st floor of the Universal Sheraton. I knew there'd be good food. At the time, I did the simple math. I could either go buy 10 more dollar pizzas or go eat at this social media event. I really went to my first social media event to get some better food. And that's where I met Jessica. And then when I met Jessica, Jeff was coming into LA to do, and she sent a letter of recommendation. And since then, it's been amazing where we've connected and done murals up in Toronto and so many different things. And even just last week, a professor at UCLA had me speak to his students because he saw me at 140 conference. And that keeps on going and going and going and going and going and going. So here I am, meaning. What's my meaning? And that's what I had to, the meaning that I found. So I started this thing called Invisible People with $45. Google has written about me a couple times. It's almost as good as being in the Bible. YouTube has given me their homepage for a day. 1.6 million people who would have never rolled down their window to talk to a homeless person had a positive interaction. I'm the first cause to ever speak at Twitter. Twitter has since brought me in to, consult on some issues of technology and homelessness. And I'm not saying all this to, pat myself on the back. I'm trying to encourage you because whatever resources you have, they are more than what I had 3 years ago. And you now have the power to change the world. So whatever it is, that cause, you can go and you can literally change the world. It's truly, truly amazing what social media can do. And so what is my work? What do I do? Well, here's the thing. It's no homeless person has ever said, would you put me into one room with 100 other people, give us a bathroom with 2 stalls, and kick us out at 5 o'clock in the morning every day, even in the winter, and that's going to cure my mental illness. That's going to cure my drug addiction. No homeless person ever said that, but that's what we do. We warehouse homeless people. And we live in a day of age where a 22-year-old nanny can change Bank of America when they wanted to increase fees. A 22-year-old part-time nanny changed Bank of America. But homeless people, they don't have a voice. I mean, I really believe that they're going to have a very large voice. I get some heat for the work that I do of expediting it. It's going to happen anyways, but we're going to be able to fight poverty and homelessness by listening to Carrie Fuller, who's the mom living in a van with her 2 kids. That's who we need to hear. We don't need to hear from a politician or some research scientist, because here's a fact that we have done a horrible job educating the general public on homelessness. I mean, you all have the stereotypical image of the guy with the cardboard sign. That's a very small percentage of homelessness. And I really believe that we can end homelessness. I would not be in a game that I can't win. And, you know, I mean, here's the thing. You could read Million Dollar Murray about Malcolm Gladwell. We paid $1 million to keep a homeless person out on the streets. So when you see these people out on the streets, you're paying for them. Whether you put $1 in their pocket or $1 in their can or whatever, you're paying for them. It costs more money to institutionalize people. It costs more money to keep them out on the streets. It costs a lot of money compared to giving them housing. So I like to break some stereotypes. That's one of the favorite things that I like to do. You know, people will say, well, they want to be homeless. Well, how come it only happens to poor people? You know? I gave him $1, and he said he was hungry, and he went in the store and bought a beer. He lied to me. Enron? Enron lied to far more people and ripped off far more people than all the homeless people ever will in eternity. And let's put it in perspective. He's going to the bathroom behind a dumpster in a McDonald's parking lot. Let him have a beer. And please, I have 16 years sober. I was once homeless myself, if you don't know my story. I am not advocating alcoholism and drinking. I'm just trying to put it into perspective, because that soccer mom down the street, she's hitting the bottle. Your brother-in-law's toking the pipe. You know what I mean? Your mailman's probably on something to get through the day. You know, drugs and alcohol are in our society. Homeless people, their life sucks. But we have to give them dignity. If you're going to the bathroom outside and the world thinks you're a piece of crap and you just keep on hitting bureaucracy and bureaucracy and bureaucracy, you're not going to change. You're not going to deal with the mental illness and the drug addiction. So we have to start, and the good thing is there's housing first models. And housing first, I fully believe in, if we could remove some of the bureaucracy that's stopping people from getting into housing. I know several homeless friends that I have in Los Angeles that are probably going to die this year or early next year. They're not capable of working. Nobody's going to hire them. They have mental illness. They're not capable of going through the insane amount of paperwork it takes to get somebody into housing. So they're going to die. Now, that should wreck your heart, because it does mine. But the real thing is, you guys pay for that. We pay for that. And together, we can change homelessness. We can get these people. They're our neighbors. What Invisible People does is we make everybody known. So if you go to the website, it's a video blog, looks like, but it's really a conversation. It's really a conversation so that these people that you would normally walk by on the streets, you get to know, and then you say, geez, wow, I've got to do something. I've got to engage. I've got to take action. And that could be as tweeting about it, getting politically active, you know. I mean, to me, I'd be screaming at my politicians in my local community that I have to step over homeless people. And I was once homeless. And we can really, really affect change and save money. I mean, a real quick statistic is it's 37% cheaper in Denver to house people than keep them on the streets. So there's 513 chronically homeless people in Denver. There's 513 chronically homeless people in Denver that, if you put them into housing, would save the people in Denver, the taxpayers, would save them $2.5 million in 2 years. So I'm going to close by, if you watch my videos, you'll see that we're going to do a little audience participation. So if you're online, you're near a computer, good. Everybody else, get out whatever you use, your iPad, your BlackBerry, your iPhone, because we're all going to do a little audience participation. So I do this thing at the end of every video. I ask people what are their 3 wishes. And it didn't start out that I consciously, when I started Invisible People, I only do it once in a while. I'm a television producer by trade, and when an interview would go sour, I would say, hey, what's your 3 wishes? You know, and usually it would bring it back in. So I didn't know that the impact that it would have until I was speaking at the University of Arkansas. And after I was done speaking, the guy came up to me and he said, stop, we have a present for you. And all the people in the audience, they had already pre-wrote on boards what their 3 wishes were. Wow. And that was one of the powerful moments. And then I realized, wow, the 3 wishes is pretty powerful. You don't have to be, you know, rock star marketer to go, wow, I better, you know, it's already branded. Let's start doing that. And now I end in every interview with 3 wishes. And you would be amazed what those 3 wishes are. But I want to know what your 3 wishes are. So I'm going to ask you to send out 2 tweets. I'm going to ask you to send out 1 tweet asking everybody in your community to tweet out using this hashtag what their 3 wishes are. And then I'd like to know your 3 wishes. So if you could just take a moment, and this is just something I wanted to do as an ending to just show the power of community, because we all have 3 wishes. And if you go to Invisible People and you watch some of these videos of homeless people throughout North America, and then you'll understand their 3 wishes are just like your 3 wishes. Thank you very much.